Shalom, this is your news update for September 10th. A follow-up to the Qatari attacks is President Trump's statement in response to the attacks. The statement was put on his Truth account, which is a social media platform, and he said it's a little confusing. Again, Israel attacked Hamas leaders who were hiding and had refuge in Qatar, and Israel attacked them, and we don't know yet, as of when I'm making this video, we don't know who they killed or who they did not kill. They have yet to clear all the rubble and find out who's under it. But listen to what President Trump said. We'll take it slowly, piece by piece. He says, this morning the Trump administration was notified by the United States military that Israel was attacking Hamas, which very unfortunately was located in a section of Doha, the capital of Qatar. Now, it seems like he's saying that this morning the Trump administration was notified by the U.S. military that Israel was attacking, like as if he didn't know this was coming. It's obvious by his statements over the last couple of days, and that there's a Qatari, there's an American Air Force base in Qatar. Israel could not have done this without alerting the American military and President Trump beforehand, because then they would have started a war with America, because America would not have known who was in the air attacking, and would have immediately responded by trying to knock down those jets. So obviously President Trump knew this was coming. What he's saying is that he was notified that it was happening. So in other words, it wasn't coordinated, let's say, in the same way that the Iran attack was. He then goes on to say this was a decision made by Prime Minister Netanyahu. It was not a decision made by me, meaning that President Trump is saying, I didn't say you shouldn't do it, but I also didn't say you should. He says, universally bombing inside Qatar, a sovereign nation and close ally of the United States that is working very hard and bravely taking risks with us to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. Okay, so now you've got to separate between, what he's going to be doing is separating between killing members of Hamas and bombing Qatar, meaning if you could kill these members of Hamas outside of Qatar and not have to bomb Qatar, that's great. But when you bomb Qatar, that's a problem because it doesn't advance Israel's or America's goals to bomb a regular nation. Okay. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the misery of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal. I immediately directed... Okay, so he's saying killing the Hamas members, good thing. Doing it inside of Qatar, not a good thing. But Israel obviously had no choice because that's where they were. I immediately directed Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, that's President Trump's negotiator for the Israel and Hamas hostages, to inform the Qataris of the impending attack, which he did. However, unfortunately, too late to stop the attack. And obviously, Qatar can't stop Israel's attack. Their military and Air Force are nowhere near as capable. But what he's saying is he threw a bone to Qatar and told them that the attack is about to happen. Now, remember, President Trump had earlier written that, like 3 lines ago, had written that he was just notified that it was happening. So, clearly his timeline is all off, and he's just saying that, as he goes on to say now, I view Qatar as a strong ally and friend of the U.S. and feel very badly about the location of the attack. I want all, capital all, of the hostages and bodies of the dead released, and this war to capitalize end now. Okay, so he's saying Qatar, good friend of the United States, not sure why we consider Qatar a good friend of the United States when they harbor terrorists, but he does, and says he wants all of the hostages and bodies of the dead hostages released and the war to end. I also spoke to Prime Minister Netanyahu after the attack. The Prime Minister told me that he wants to make peace. I believe this unfortunate incident could serve as an opportunity for peace, saying, okay, let's look at the silver lining, what could happen now. I also spoke to the Emir and Prime Minister of Qatar and thank them for their support and friendship to our country. I assure them that such a thing will not happen again on their soil, meaning that President Trump gave the okay for this to be one time, not again. I have directed Secretary of State Marco Rubio to finalize the defense cooperation agreement with Qatar, meaning that the payoff for Qatar not doing anything in response to this is going to be that they're going to get weapons from the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So, my question to you is, are you happy with President Trump's statement? Would you have liked it to be more critical, more supportive? Did it strike the perfect tone? What is your opinion? Okay, looking forward to hearing your answers.